our gold participants from around the world. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Public Relations Manager and MC for Gold Learning. Well, I'm sitting down and chatting with Cindy LeClerc and Jana Stockham here today. So excited to have you ladies back. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us, Fiona.
And you are going to be presenting at our upcoming Gold Lactation Online Conference 2017 and chosen a very, very important topic. We know how important this is, but we're still seeing a lot of things happen in the first and early 2 weeks. But before we get into the topic, Cindy and Jana, both of you, if you could take turns perhaps introducing yourself to our listening audience, tell them a little bit about yourself and what your day-to-day practice looks like.
Okay, hi, I'm Cindy LeClerc, and I'm a registered nurse and an international board certified lactation consultant. And I really have two jobs. I work doing home visits to moms who've just given birth to their babies. Their babies are in the first few days of life, helping them get started with breastfeeding and transition to their new role. And I also work online, trying really hard to bring trusted information to that group of people.
And
That's
I'm
wonderful.
Jana Stockham. I've had the pleasure of actually working along with Cindy for probably 20 years. I started as a registered nurse over 20 years ago and became an international board certified lactation consultant about 19 years ago. As Cindy mentioned, I do the same job, seeing families in the early days, supporting breastfeeding and helping them, get off to that early start and in their homes. And we've really learned. We've tried to expand to be that support for parents outside of that role, and really have noticed the importance of um, meeting with them prenatally. And we started doing more education prenatally because we found that there is certain things that are very important that families can learn ahead of time to help them settle in with their newborn after the baby comes.
That's wonderful. Well, like I said at the top of this, very excited to see, um, what we're talking about and how we're trying to care and, as the title mentions there, prevent. And so I'm really curious to just ask you both, when you were studying this topic and putting it to a PowerPoint form, tell us what was really important to you. What did you really sort of start to really see or establish as a pattern of what's happening in the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, I would say that this entire talk is something that Jan and I have been passionate about for many years. We just have had the opportunity to see probably over 20,000 new families, and we see
Wow.
over and over the same things that have tripped up new families. Um, Families want to do the best for their baby, they're worried babies aren't getting enough, and we see lots of times um, things that have made their journey a lot harder. Sometimes supplements started that aren't necessary just because people they lack knowledge. So we just have been really trying to educate people. And as Jana said, now we're really trying to maybe work even more with prevention in hopefully helping them to learn a few tips even before baby arrives.
And I
And
would,
yeah, go
oh, go
ahead,
ahead,
Jana.
Fiona.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
was
was
gonna,
just going to
I was, no, please, you go first because I want to hear
Okay,
your
I'm sorry.
response. Yeah.
I was just going to add that, I became very involved with the numbers and the statistics because of my role in looking at the Baby Friendly Initiative and working through that designation process in our area. And while the numbers were, very kind of staggering when you see how many women start breastfeeding and how it does do the plunge, I think the passion for me came when I heard the mom's story. So the actual moms who wanted breastfeeding to work out and it didn't go as planned, the emotional consequence of that on their self-confidence and on their just how they felt as a mother was so devastating to me that I thought, okay, this is about getting a plaque on the wall, but it's more importantly about how these families are feeling about their experience and helping them to meet their breastfeeding goals for that group that really want to breastfeed and provide breast milk for their babies.
Absolutely. So the question I had about this, and both of you have been in the field for many years. We won't say down too many, but I want to know, like, has it changed the way that we're working with families today than how we used to? Like, have you seen like a real transformation in how we, you know, what we're doing in order to support them in that first and early 2 weeks? Because I don't ever remember it being as crucial, in my early training days. So I'm just curious from your perspective what you've seen.
Well, and I would see over the last 20 years, there it's not like I guess we can't speak for what's happening to everybody in
Sure.
terms of we've been doing the same job, but we have seen the same issues crop up for people
Yep.
year after year after year. I would say they're the same issues. What has changed is that families are really looking online to figure it out, and they're really confused when they're looking online and trying to quickly Google what's the answer to why is
Yeah.
my baby crying so much. And there's a lot of misinformation online, and that's again why Jana and I have taken our passion to doing things online as well through our website.
That's wonderful. And did you have anything to add to that, Jana?
Yeah, no, I think I feel the same. I think that, you know, for a long time there's been a focus on the childbirth, which is important, and,
Sure.
focusing on getting through the delivery. And I think that, maybe hopefully we can look at, how do we prepare for feeding our babies too, and what can we do in that early prenatal period. I don't think it's changed over time as far as the need for that education. In our health, in our area, I just feel like maybe the nurses, like it's so overwhelming in that we have short hospital stays and they're sent home early with their little babies. And it's a hard time when you're, stressed and overwhelmed with a new baby and very tired to take in all the information you have to at that point. So I think we've really tried to take some key education points that are crucial and try to get families to learn them ahead of time before their babies come. So I think the way I hate to say do business, but the way our health regions
Right.
go with the short hospital stays, I think that's maybe affected the amount of education that families can take in a short period of time.
Yeah, I always find that discussion very, very interesting. In some way, it's done a service, and in other ways, it seems to have caused a hindrance. So it's very interesting. And of course, not just here in Canada, but around the world, internationally, different protocols and, but still similar outcomes. So it's very interesting. But I love this conversation, and I know we'll have lots of time to talk more about this when we do your live presentation. But perhaps before we go today, both of you would like to just say what you're really looking forward to sharing with our delegates while you're presenting.
Well, I think we want to, share what the research is saying about why the plunge is happening, but I think also what we've learned in our experience actually being with the families and working with them and trying to come up with, you know, um, for those families that breastfeeding when it doesn't go as planned, how can we help that from, that plunge from happening, and what needs to be in place ahead of time? What can we do to support them in the early period to, is it increased education? What we've learned over time that we feel can make a difference, I guess.
Right.
And I would just add that I think that the delegates, lots of them probably, if I was to ask them and they spent some time thinking, they'll probably come up with the same sort of things that cause the plunge. So it's really a working together and just bringing these things more and more to the top of our minds and just remembering uh, or trying to figure out ways that we can bring these messages to families when they can hear them so that when they encounter these issues, they'll be better prepared.
Well, that's wonderful. I feel like I want to keep going right now, but I know that time is precious here, and I just really appreciate you coming in today and chatting with us. It's much appreciated. Um, I can't wait actually to see more discussion about this because sometimes the things that we do on an automatic basis we don't review enough, and I love this type of review. When we're really looking at something a little bit closer to make sure that we're actually doing our best and learning about the changes. Like you said, so many of our moms now they're quickly trying to figure out, how many hours is too long for a baby to cry, or what should they be doing at this stage and things like that. So it is such a crucial time for our babies, and so I'll look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you, Jenna, for being here
Thank
today.
Thank you, Fiona.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful to have you ladies. And I was just going to check in here and see what our schedule says. So you're going to be speaking on Monday, the 10th of April. And please check your local times online, and you can find that at goldlactation.com. So thank you again for joining us today. This has been a Fiona Lang Sharp, and I've been speaking with Jana and Cindy. Bye bye for now, everyone.